Avoiding inflammatory and ultra-processed foods is essential for protecting men's health after 50 because the body simply does not operate the same way it did at 25 or 30. As men age, several internal changes begin happening quietly in the background. Metabolism slows, hormone production decreases, inflammation rises more easily, recovery takes longer, and the body becomes more sensitive to what you eat and how often you eat it. Foods that may not have caused noticeable issues in your younger years begin to trigger chain reactions that affect energy, weight, mental clarity, heart health, liver health, and even mood. This is why focusing on what you remove from your diet becomes just as important as what you add. When you consistently expose your system to inflammatory foods, your digestive tract becomes irritated, your blood sugar becomes unstable, and your liver becomes overloaded trying to filter out additives, chemicals, and oxidized fats. Over time, this leads to chronic inflammation, which becomes the root of a long list of problems men deal with as they age, including stubborn belly fat, low testosterone, joint stiffness, poor sleep, digestive discomfort, and cardiovascular strain. The biggest issue with ultra-processed foods is not only that they contain low-quality ingredients, but also that they are engineered to override your natural hunger signals. These foods are created to be addictive, hyper-palatable, and easy to overeat. When men reach their late 40s and 50s, the body's ability to regulate appetite through hormones such as leptin and ghrelin becomes less efficient. Processed foods push that imbalance even further, causing you to feel hungry more often while storing more calories as fat. This cycle contributes to metabolic slowdown, which is one of the leading obstacles men face when trying to maintain a healthy weight or regain lost energy. The inflammation triggered by these foods also interferes with insulin sensitivity, making it harder for your cells to use glucose efficiently. As insulin resistance builds, it not only promotes fat storage but also contributes to blood pressure issues, cholesterol imbalance, and overall hormonal decline. Another major reason to avoid inflammatory foods is the oxidative stress they create. Seed oils, deep-fried foods, and many packaged snacks contain unstable fats that oxidize easily. Oxidized fats generate free radicals in the body, damaging cells, arteries, and even DNA. For men over 50, this oxidative stress becomes a significant risk factor for heart disease, cognitive decline, and chronic fatigue. The heart has to work harder, the circulation slows, and oxygen transport becomes less efficient. Many men notice symptoms like brain fog, slower thinking, irritability, or reduced stamina, and they often assume age is the only cause. But in many cases, the issue begins with inflammation and oxidative damage from daily eating habits. Additives such as artificial preservatives, flavor enhancers, artificial sweeteners, colorings, and stabilizers add another layer of stress to the liver. Your liver is responsible for filtering toxins, producing hormones, and supporting metabolism. After 50, liver efficiency naturally slows. When you continuously overload it with chemicals from processed foods, alcohol, sugary snacks, and fast food, it becomes congested and less effective. A sluggish liver affects almost every other system. Digestion becomes weaker, cholesterol balance worsens, energy drops, and detoxification slows. Many men don't realize that brain fog, skin problems, or even mood fluctuations often originate from a stressed liver. Inflammatory foods also affect the gut microbiome, which plays a major role in metabolism, immune function, and hormone balance. When you consume a lot of processed sugar, fried foods, or foods with chemical additives, beneficial gut bacteria decline while harmful bacteria grow. This imbalance leads to bloating, constipation, craving, weakened immunity, and increased inflammation throughout the body. The gut also communicates with the brain through the gut-brain axis, so poor gut health often results in mental fatigue, irritability, or increased stress. Over time, gut inflammation contributes to poor nutrient absorption, meaning even when you eat healthy foods, your body may struggle to extract the vitamins and minerals it needs. Another overlooked effect of inflammatory foods is their impact on testosterone. Chronic inflammation elevates cortisol, the stress hormone. High cortisol suppresses testosterone production. Low testosterone leads to reduced muscle mass, increased belly fat, decreased motivation, low energy, weaker bones, and reduced performance in daily activities. Many men chase testosterone boosters or supplements without addressing the true underlying issue: inflammation caused by poor dietary choices. When you remove ultra-processed foods, sugars, and inflammatory oils, the body naturally restores hormonal balance because the stress level inside the cells decreases. Avoiding these harmful foods also protects your heart. Men over 50 are at a higher risk heart disease, partially due to lifestyle habits accumulated over decades. Processed foods cause plaque buildup, arterial stiffness, and high triglycerides. Fried foods and trans fats damage the inner lining of the blood vessels, making it harder for the arteries to expand and contract. When the arteries stiffen, blood pressure rises, circulation weakens, and the heart has to pump harder. Eliminating inflammatory foods reduces this pressure, allowing the cardiovascular system to recover and strengthen. When you begin removing these foods, The benefits show up quickly. Energy becomes more stable, bloating reduces, cravings fade, and your mind becomes clearer. Many men notice improved sleep, better focus, and a renewed sense of vitality. This happens because the body finally gets a break from the constant stress of inflammation. Once the inflammation decreases, insulin becomes more stable, hormones recalibrate naturally, and digestion improves. Your body becomes more efficient at burning fat for fuel, which increases overall stamina and reduces stubborn weight around the midsection. Even your skin and joints start to feel better because inflammation throughout the body begins to lower. The most powerful change comes from consistency. It's not about perfection or never touching processed foods again. It's about reducing exposure and replacing harmful habits with choices that align with how the body is designed to function. Choosing whole foods, healthy fats, clean protein, and natural ingredients sends a signal of safety to your body. It allows your metabolism to operate smoothly, your hormones to balance, and your cells to repair without interference from toxins and inflammatory triggers. When men over 50 shift their diet in this direction, they not only protect themselves from long-term disease, but also regain the energy, strength, and clarity they thought they lost forever. Stabilizing blood sugar and reducing toxin exposure can significantly improve energy, hormones, and metabolism because these two factors influence nearly every major system in the body, especially for men over 50. When blood sugar swings up and down throughout the day, the body goes into a constant cycle of stress, craving, fatigue, and inflammation. And when toxins accumulate from food, chemicals, environmental exposure, and processed ingredients, the liver becomes overworked, hormones become imbalanced, and metabolism slows. Understanding how these two elements interact is one of the most powerful steps a man can take to regain control over his health, especially during the years when the body becomes more sensitive to stress, foods, and lifestyle habits. Blood sugar instability is one of the biggest hidden causes of low energy that many men overlook. A common pattern is waking up feeling tired, getting an energy spike after a sugary or carb-heavy meal, crashing a few hours later, craving more food, and repeating the cycle. What's happening inside the body is a constant battle between insulin and glucose. Each time you eat foods like pastries, white bread, pasta, sugary drinks, cereal, or snacks made with refined flour, your blood sugar surges higher than your body can handle. The pancreas responds by releasing a large amount of insulin to lower the blood sugar, but for men over 50 who may already have some degree of insulin resistance, insulin stays elevated for too long. This leads to energy crashes, brain fog, mood swings, and increased hunger shortly after eating. When insulin remains high over time, it becomes harder for the body to burn fat because insulin signals the body to store fat rather than use it as energy. This is one of the biggest reasons men struggle with stubborn belly fat even when they exercise. The issue isn't a lack of effort, it's a hormonal environment where fat burning is blocked by constantly elevated insulin. Stabilizing blood sugar helps reverse this problem. When you keep glucose levels steady, insulin stays low, and your body is finally able to access stored fat for fuel. This leads to sustained energy and a more efficient metabolism. Hormones like testosterone are also heavily influenced by blood sugar. High insulin suppresses testosterone production, increases inflammation, and promotes the conversion of testosterone into estrogen. Many men feel their strength, motivation, and vitality decline as this hormonal imbalance grows. By stabilizing blood sugar, cortisol decreases, testosterone rises naturally, and overall hormonal balance improves without needing extreme diets or complicated supplements. Another key benefit of stable blood sugar is better brain function. The brain thrives on steady fuel levels. When blood sugar spikes and crashes, mental clarity disappears, concentration becomes harder, and irritability increases. Men often describe this as getting older, but in reality, it's a biochemical imbalance driven by diet. Once the body shifts to a more stable blood sugar pattern, men frequently report sharper focus, clearer thinking, and improved memory. This is because the brain is no longer under stress from fluctuating glucose levels and can operate in a more balanced and efficient state. Reducing toxin exposure is equally important because toxins directly interfere with the body's hormonal and metabolic systems. The liver is responsible for filtering out toxins, producing enzymes, helping with digestion and supporting hormone production. But when the liver becomes overloaded with chemical additives, preservatives, pesticides, artificial sweeteners, alcohol, seed oils, and environmental pollutants, its efficiency decreases. A sluggish liver leads to slow metabolism, low energy, poor digestion, and hormonal imbalances. Many men think they are tired because of age, but often the liver is simply burdened by decades of toxin buildup. Reducing toxins allows the liver to detoxify more efficiently, which restores energy and improves overall metabolic function. Environmental toxins also affect the endocrine system, which regulates hormones. Chemicals found in processed foods, plastics, cleaning products, and even personal care products can mimic hormones or disrupt natural hormone production. These hormone-disrupting chemicals contribute to lowered testosterone, increased fat storage, poor sleep, and lower energy levels. When men begin reducing toxin exposure through cleaner foods, filtered water, and natural household products, their hormone balance often improves significantly without the need for medication. The thyroid, which plays a major role in metabolism, is especially sensitive to toxins. When the thyroid becomes sluggish, men experience symptoms like weight gain, cold hands and feet, fatigue, and slow digestion. Reducing toxins helps support thyroid function, which in turn boosts metabolism and restores natural energy levels. One major toxin-related issue that many men overlook is inflammation. Toxins increase inflammation at the cellular level, which disrupts mitochondrial function. Mitochondria are the energy-producing units inside your cells. When they are inflamed or stressed, they can't produce energy efficiently. This is why toxin accumulation often leads to chronic fatigue. When toxins are removed from the diet and environment, inflammation drops, mitochondrial function improves, and energy increases dramatically. This is why men often feel a noticeable difference within just a few weeks of reducing toxin exposure and stabilizing blood sugar. Gut health also plays a huge role in both toxin management and blood sugar control. A healthy gut helps regulate appetite, control cravings, support immune function, and produce certain hormones. But when toxins and inflammatory foods disrupt gut bacteria, men experience digestive problems, irregular bowel movements, bloating, cravings, and unwanted weight gain. Sugar spikes feed harmful bacteria in the gut, creating further imbalance. Stabilizing blood sugar helps regulate gut bacteria, while reducing toxins allows the gut lining to heal. Over time, this leads to improved digestion, fewer cravings, and better absorption of nutrients that support metabolic health. Another reason these two factors are so important is their impact on stress hormones. Both blood sugar spikes and toxin accumulation increase cortisol. Elevated cortisol leads to fat storage, poor sleep, muscle loss, and reduced testosterone. Many men over 50 experience these symptoms without realizing they are heavily connected to diet and toxin exposure. As soon as blood sugar becomes stable and toxins are reduced, cortisol levels begin to normalize. When cortisol stabilizes, sleep improves, muscle recovery becomes easier, and fat loss becomes more natural. This creates a positive cycle where the body begins functioning the way it was designed to. Stabilizing blood sugar also improves cardiovascular health. When glucose levels are unpredictable, it stresses the arteries and inflames the blood vessels. This contributes to high blood pressure, plaque buildup, and poor circulation. Men over 50 are already at higher risk for heart-related issues, so keeping blood sugar steady becomes one of the most important protective steps. Reducing toxins further supports the cardiovascular system because it decreases oxidative stress, lowers inflammation, and improves blood vessel function. Together, these two habits help protect the heart and improve overall circulation. Another major benefit is better long-term weight control. Weight gain is often not just about calories, but about hormones responding to food intake. When insulin is high and toxins disrupt hormones, the body stores fat more easily and resists fat burning. When blood sugar stabilizes and toxins decrease, hormones become more balanced, appetite decreases naturally, and fat burning becomes more efficient. This is why men who make these changes often lose weight without feeling deprived or exhausted. They are simply aligning their habits with how the body is meant to function. Improving energy is one of the first results men notice. Rather than relying on caffeine, sugar, or snacks to get through the day, steady blood sugar provides consistent fuel. Reduced toxin load frees up the liver and cells to operate more efficiently, which increases stamina and productivity. Men often describe this shift as feeling younger, clearer, and more emotionally stable. This happens because the body is no longer fighting constant internal stress. Together, stabilizing blood sugar and reducing toxin exposure create a powerful foundation for better health, stronger hormones, improved metabolism, and long-lasting vitality. Prioritizing whole foods, daily movement, quality sleep, and stress management supports long-term vitality and disease prevention because these four pillars work together to restore the body's natural balance, especially as men age. When a man reaches 50 and beyond, his body becomes more sensitive to lifestyle habits. What used to be optional now becomes essential. Whole foods provide the nutrients needed for the body to repair, regulate hormones, reduce inflammation, and maintain steady energy. Daily movement keeps the cardiovascular system strong, supports muscle mass, and enhances metabolic flexibility. Quality sleep repairs the brain, resets hormones, and rejuvenates the body in ways no supplement can, and stress management lowers inflammation, protects the heart, and prevents the hormonal disruptions that lead to fatigue, weight gain, and mood imbalances. When these elements come together, the body becomes more efficient, resilient, and capable of aging with strength rather than decline. Whole foods are the foundation because they give the body what it recognizes and can use immediately. When you eat real foods, vegetables, fruits, Lean proteins, eggs, nuts, seeds, healthy fats, and clean carbohydrates. The body absorbs vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and amino acids that support every organ system. These nutrients help regulate blood sugar, reduce inflammation, nourish the gut, and support hormone production. Men over 50 often struggle with issues like slow metabolism, digestive discomfort, joint pain, and declining energy because their diet lacks nutrient density. Processed foods create inflammation, but whole foods reverse that by delivering compounds that help the body heal. For example, antioxidants protect cells from oxidative stress, fiber feeds healthy gut bacteria, and minerals like magnesium and potassium support muscle function and heart health. Eating whole foods also naturally lowers cravings, stabilizes mood, and reduces overeating because your body feels more satisfied when it's properly nourished. Daily movement is another essential pillar, and it doesn't need to be extreme to be effective. As men age, muscle mass naturally declines, bone density decreases, and flexibility reduces if movement becomes limited. This is why consistent daily activity is crucial. Walking improves circulation, supports heart health, and helps maintain stable blood sugar. Strength training preserves muscle mass and boosts metabolism because muscle tissue burns more calories even at rest. Stretching improves joint health and prevents stiffness, which becomes more common after 50. Movement also increases the release of endorphins, which improve mood and reduce stress. Many men think they need intense workouts, but what the body truly needs is consistency. Even simple habits like taking the stairs, going for a morning walk, doing bodyweight exercises, or gardening contribute to better health. When daily movement becomes part of your lifestyle, your heart works more efficiently, digestion improves, and the body becomes stronger and more resilient. Quality sleep is often overlooked, yet it plays one of the biggest roles in aging well. During sleep, the brain clears toxins, the liver performs deep detoxification tasks, and the body repairs muscle tissue and balances hormones. Testosterone, growth hormone, and other essential hormones are produced during deep sleep. When sleep is poor, these processes become disrupted, leading to fatigue, irritability, cravings, and slower metabolism. Men who don't sleep well often struggle with weight gain, low motivation, weakened immunity, and higher stress levels. Poor sleep also increases the stress hormone cortisol, which interferes with testosterone and promotes belly fat storage. Prioritizing sleep means creating a routine that signals the body to wind down, limiting screens before bed, keeping the room dark and cool, and avoiding late-night snacks. Good sleep improves mental clarity, strengthens memory, and restores energy in a way that no diet or exercise alone can achieve. Stress management ties everything together because chronic stress is one of the most damaging forces on the body. High stress increases inflammation, disrupts hormones, and burdens the cardiovascular system. Many men carry stress silently through work pressure, financial responsibilities, family obligations, or unresolved emotional strain. Chronic stress pushes cortisol levels higher, and elevated cortisol can create a cascade of health issues such as high blood pressure, low energy, digestive problems, anxiety, and reduced testosterone. Managing stress doesn't require dramatic changes, but rather simple, consistent practices that calm the nervous system. Deep breathing, meditation, spending time outdoors, taking breaks throughout the day, and practicing gratitude all lower cortisol and promote a sense of balance. Even small moments of calm can reset the body and improve overall well-being. Nutrition, movement, sleep, and stress aren't separate, they influence each other in powerful ways. When a man eats whole foods, his blood sugar becomes more stable, which supports better sleep and reduces mood swings. When he moves daily, his stress levels naturally decrease and his sleep quality improves. When he sleeps well, his metabolism becomes more efficient, cravings reduce, and his motivation to exercise increases. When he manages stress effectively, his hormones stabilize, digestion improves, and his overall energy rises. This creates a positive cycle where one healthy habit reinforces another, making long-term vitality more achievable. Whole foods also help detoxify the body and reduce internal inflammation. Many plant-based foods contain phytonutrients that support the liver, help remove toxins, and repair oxidative damage. Healthy fats like avocados, nuts, and olive oil support brain function and testosterone production. Lean proteins provide amino acids essential for muscle repair, immune function, and energy maintenance. Carbohydrates from whole sources such as sweet potatoes, fruits, and vegetables provide steady energy without the crashes caused by processed sugar. When you focus on whole foods, your body receives the exact tools it needs to perform at its best. Daily movement prevents stiffness, improves posture, and supports better joint health. As men age, mobility becomes one of the biggest factors determining quality of life. Movement increases synovial fluid in the joints, enhances flexibility, and maintains strong muscles that support the spine and hips. Regular exercise also improves blood flow to the brain, which helps protect cognitive function and memory. Sleep is also essential for metabolic health. After 50, insulin sensitivity decreases, And poor sleep makes this worse. When you sleep well, your body regulates hunger hormones more effectively, reducing cravings for unhealthy foods. Sleep also supports emotional stability and decision making, helping you stay committed to healthier habits. Managing stress protects both the heart and the brain. High stress accelerates aging by increasing inflammation and weakening the immune system. Learning how to calm your mind is not only beneficial for mental well-being but also for physical health. Practices like deep breathing stimulate the parasympathetic nervous system, which helps lower blood pressure and heart rate. Spending time in nature supports mental clarity and lowers cortisol. Even simple activities like reading, stretching, or having quiet time can reset the nervous system and improve overall health. Together, these four lifestyle pillars influence longevity more than genetics or medication. By prioritizing whole foods, men nourish their bodies with essential nutrients. By moving daily, they keep their muscles, heart, and metabolism strong. By sleeping well, they restore energy and balance hormones. By managing stress, they protect their emotional and physical well-being. When these habits become part of daily life, men experience improved mood, better physical performance, sharper thinking, and stronger immunity. This combination creates a lifestyle that supports long-term vitality, reduces the risk of chronic disease, and helps men age with strength, clarity, and confidence.